episode of Noodle Time, episode 136. I'm your host, Mark Segovia, alongside two of the greatest Dynamo supporters that I've gotten to know throughout these past couple of years, Andres and OSG. What's going on, guys?
Oh man.
Yeah, what's up, man? What's up, bro? Hey, I'm
Well,
good. I'm
I'm
ready
just waiting for
for the
I'm just
friggin'
waiting for y'all to say
weekend.
hi. I'm just
Hey,
waiting for
I
y'all to
know,
say
like
hi.
the dynamic fox try leads me off, but I follow up. But I'm ready for the friggin' weekend, bro. I'm ready for the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot of great stuff coming up this weekend. Obviously, the big match against Austin FC. We're gonna be tailgating. We're gonna be grilling or eating some pupusas. We're gonna hopefully have a giveaway, guys. Let's come. I mean, we'll talk about that later. I wanna have a big giveaway this Saturday, but I need your guys' help. But with all that being said, I mean, guys, um, where can we start? We come back home. We spoke about it last week. We got the great news that Linger was going to be available for selection for the first time for the Dynamo. And what does he do? He scores the game time goal for the Dynamo to salvage a point at home against uh, uh, who do we play? Rapids, right? So sorry, guys.
Colorado Rapids,
Brain
yeah.
fart. Yeah, brain fart. Sorry, guys. And and obviously, pandemonia uh, escalated, and everybody's excited. Linder was excited. You can tell everybody was excited. The buildup for the play was really nice. Obviously, the assist from Franco Escobar was sweet, and obviously the header from Linder was even sweeter. Um, just a great thing. Obviously, right now the fact that we're grabbing points every week, it seems now, is great. But obviously, being at home and being the team that we're trying to be and trying to catch up from the points that we let go in the beginning of the season, some of these ties need to turn into wins, and some of these losses need to turn into ties. But we'll get to that sooner. But let's talk about the good stuff. OSG, Linder scoring the game tying goal. What was your thoughts at the
Hmm.
moment? Were you at the game?
No, sir. Did not make this game, unfortunately.
So no traveler miles this weekend.
No, sir. No OSG mileage tracker.
All right. So you're sitting on the couch. You got the Apple TV going. You see the Dynamo down two
Absolutely.
one. What are your thoughts?
Stressing, stressing completely.
Yeah.
And then and then the timing, obviously the ball, Escobar doing Escobar things, like, oh man. And then he lingered, and he talked about it. He talked about it with Glenn Davis. He talked about it afterwards. Like, just the effort that he put into it to get to where he needed to be. And then the defender's reaction just sold it all. You saved the day, as you titled this, Mark. Linger, save the day.
For
Even
sure,
though
for
it's for
sure.
1 point.
Yeah. We're gonna hopefully the Dynamo don't stress you too much, man, because I don't know where else we can get white hairs from you. So a lot of stressing, a lot of stressing. Andres, your thoughts on the goal? Obviously, something amazing. It's not too often that we get to see a debut, especially from a player that we've been longing to see get on the pitch, to come out and automatically contribute from the get go.
Well, the first thing I'm gonna say is the fact that it felt so long since he was announced, and obviously the visa issues and all that. And thankfully, he was able to get back into training fairly quickly. And after that, I was essentially shocked with the fact that he came in the last 50 minutes of the game, and just scoring that header in the 96th minute and becoming the first designated player in Dynamo history to score in his debut. For me, I was like, first of all, I didn't know that happened. Like, we had nobody scored in a debut
That's
before for a
crazy.
designated player.
That's a crazy
Um,
stat.
it's insane. For me, like, just the way he was able to play and contribute in his before the goal, it tells me a lot. So that's the type of energy that we need right now, and it's definitely amazing to see other Schlinger score like that.
For sure, for sure. I mean, look, I'm gonna tell you my personal experience. I was sitting down on the couch. I'm like, man, dude. I mean, first I was frustrated with obviously the penalty that Femi gave up to Navarro, and then obviously the Milikovic goal was man, I'm like, here we go again. And then obviously I was already expecting, you know, what did what was been doing? Why did he put Bond in ahead of Gilly? All this. I was already preparing for a negative show today. But then I'm sitting down, whatever. I'm watching the build up, whatever, and I see the ball get up, and I see the ball go up, and I see Franco Escobar. And you know what? Shout out to Franco Escobar. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, we might have to have a debate soon. He might be the best left back in Dynamo history. We might have to have a debate pretty soon about
Mm.
that. But
Brad
that'll be for,
Davis.
but that'll be for another show. But anyways, he jumps up, he gets the clearance over the defender, is able to head the ball in, and out of nowhere, to be honest, I wasn't even paying attention to the middle of the box. Out of nowhere, Linder comes in, boom, and the great thing about this header was it wasn't a powerful one. It wasn't one that he just had to hit it with all his might. He hit it the way it needed to go and where it needed to be at. He hit it with finesse and with accuracy, and that's all you needed. And bam, man, dude, I was so excited. So I mean, like, dude, I was super excited. Like I said, I didn't know. I had no idea about the stat about the being the first DP in Dynamo history to score in his debut. I had no idea about that. I mean, now that you added that caveat on top of it, Andres, I'm even happier now about it. It's great to see players come in and contribute right off the bat, man, because we don't get to see that often from as a Dynamo fan base, to see that. I mean, look, we know what happened with Hector Herrera. Like the first 10 games were miserable, but that's what it was. I mean, he came in half of the season, whatever, this and that, wasn't in shape, miserable, whatever. Um, Ponce, it took him a little bit of a while, to get acclimated, and to get in with the system. But then, once you got a little bit used to the chemistry, whatever, we've seen him score. Unfortunately, we haven't had him uh, score at a more consistent pace like we would like for the money that he cost us. But I mean, we're hopeful that he gets there. Sebastian Ferreira, same thing with him. Came in, debuted, didn't contribute right off the bat, but I mean, obviously, he ended up his first season with I think it was 12 or 13 goals. But then Olsen comes in and
13.
mixes up the whole thing, and he gets him off of the fact that he doesn't fit his system and all this other nonsense, whatever. And obviously, he goes away and he's no longer with the team. So the fact that Linger has come in, get one, scored one goal already, he's gotten that monkey off his back. I'm excited to see what he does this Saturday. Whether or not you think he starts or he gets full, or he comes off the bench to still get him off, to still get the rust off of him. I guess we'll see what happens. But from that standpoint of the game, very happy, very excited. I'm happy to see what happens with Linger and obviously with the other players that come in. Guys, before anything else, do you have anything else to add about the Linger goal or anything else that you want to comment about the player himself? Anybody?
I just
Anybody?
think the work. I think just the work effort he put to put himself in that position, and he even mentioned it on the Glenn Davis interview how kind of how he plays and this is the way he does it. So yeah, man, like just he's going to be a difference. He's portraying himself as a difference maker, and he's going to be a difference maker, and he wants to be that difference maker. And so, looking forward to it, and let's see what he can do and continue to do. I expect him to start this weekend, and why not?
Yeah, and let's not forget. Obviously, he right now at this current moment, he does carry that DP title on him because
Hmm.
of the transfer fee and stuff like that. But so I mean, obviously, when you carry that
Yep.
DP that DP level type player, whatever people are expecting right off the bat. Let's go. So obviously one game down right off the bat, two thumbs up. But let's continue talking about this game though. Obviously we coming back home. We spoke about it last week, me and OSG, about the tie that we got against LA Galaxy, and how I mentioned prior that road points are golden points. So you can never be upset about coming out with a point on the road. But that game against LA Galaxy seemed kind of like, man, we lost a big opportunity at getting the full 3 points, because I mentioned to him, I told him, dude, we're going up against both LA clubs. If I told you right now you're guaranteed 4 points, OSG, you admitted you would take it. Andres, I'm pretty sure you would take it if I told you that ahead of time. And yet we came out with the 4 points, but it seems like a disappointment because we had a really big opportunity for six. Now, coming into the game for this game against Colorado, obviously, I think the motivation of guys seeing that new players are coming in. Obviously, with new players coming in, that means that other players are going to be pushed and might be pushed off from starting to the bench, and that brings extra motivation, right? And you saw that right off the bat with the Bassi goal. Bassi in there, scoring, doing things that we've wanted Bassi to do. One of the things that we find
And Seba almost doing the same thing, but right before.
yeah, one of the things that we find annoying with Bassi is that we sometimes when he should be shooting, he's passing, he's too passive,
Mhm.
But he does score the goal. Dynamo are showing really good chemistry, going up and down against Colorado Rapids, and you know, it seemed like we were poised to go back to back on wins at home, but again, a silly penalty in the box, silly foul in the box by Felmy, gives up obviously the first goal to Colorado Rapids for them to tie it, and then a couple of minutes later, Milinkovic going up 2-1 against the Dynamo. Um, Andres, I'll ask you this question, man. You know, Obviously we've lost a lot of points in the beginning of the season. Starting off the way we started off, it's going to get to a point where we can't lose these points. Even though, like I said, we got out of there with a point, and obviously, as long as we keep collaborating and collecting points, will be good. But I mean, but these 3 points that we're letting go, that's 4 points now. These last 2 weeks that I feel that we could have had, and it would have gone a long way in the standings. Your thoughts on it?
It's extremely concerning, and of course, that's kind of how we started the season with how we've been taking the lead against FC Dallas and still like managing to lose the 3 points. And it's gonna bite us towards the end of the year when we're gonna be looking for points, still regardless of how we're doing in the standings. Of course, there's still a lot of positives to take out of this game, particularly just how they were able to stay composed because Colorado's not a bad team at all. Like the results themselves are there, and really when it comes down to it, for me, it's just how they can manage it from here, and it's definitely easier said than done when the players are obviously they know what's at stake and what they need to do, but they have to find a way to get the 3 points now because it's now at home, especially because on the road I feel like we've been for the most part decent enough to grab as many points as we can, and at home I just feel like we're wasting a good opportunity to get 3 points here and there.
OSG, obviously our road form. I mean, aside from the game against I forgot who it was where we got kind of pummeled where we didn't get a point. I mean, we've managed to
Portland.
collect a point.
Portland, yeah.
Each against Portland. Aside from that game, we've managed to uh collect a point, which obviously, like I said, road points are golden points, right? But they can't be too golden if we're not collecting the wins at home that we need to be. Especially especially with the opportunities and chances that we go in halftime leading the game. We have to have find the ability to close. What do you think they need to do to better equip themselves to stop making these little mistakes where they're giving up these penalties against these clubs?
Man, well, the mental mistakes, I mean, the little ones are going to come. I mean, they're rare. They come, but man, I think the biggest thing is Ben just is so predictable right now in his tactics and his and the game plan and the way he's going to play and what adjustments he's going to make. The league has figured him out, and it's just it's impossible for us to win at home or even grab points at home or get that one that and we're lucky for that 1 point right now. And it's just you don't even use the whole subs. He's just like you're losing 1-0, and then like you have three subs available still and you don't use them. You feel comfortable that you're going to come back and maybe tie this game, but you're like, oh, damn, we didn't do it. I still have three subs available. I could have changed the game if I wanted to. I know you, Ben is just like he's that stubborn dude, bro. But it's so hard to because you have to you have to evolve and make adjustments, and I kind of feel like Ben is evolved to his max, and it's just tough right now. And it could be the players we have now. We'll see. We have a lot of players coming in, so I'm curious what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
But man, it's hard. Like, bro, you got to change a little bit, and he may be trying to change, and the players aren't, or it's not translating. I don't know, but we'll never know unless you're out there.
Andres, do you agree with OSG? Do you think it's stubbornness on Olsen's part, or do you think that Olsen wholeheartedly believes that he doesn't have the right talent on the bench to get the result or to go out there and get the result?
I think it's a combination of both, but as we've seen in the past few years with Ben Olsen in charge, he's been stubborn, and I do give him a lot of uh, leeway here because of the injuries and all that. Like he already said before that he's missing his players, and he always had to make adjustments at the start of the year. But yeah, it's like always you just highlighted the fact that we're only making three subs now.
Yeah.
It feels like at most, and also feels like we could have some more options out there. But that's how we were allowed, and it's also a matter of, like you guys said it, like how he's able to apply the game plan here. And for me, it's just gonna get interesting from now on because of the reinforcements we're gonna talk about for sure. But like for this game in particular, I feel like there could have been more, and the opportunity was there to get the win.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And and
All right, well,
real quick, Mark, and just to follow up, it's like it's the players that we bring up from Dose as well, and you have on those bench that we hype up and we talk about all the time, and we believe in his fan base. The fan base believes in him, and then the coaching staff doesn't use them that portray. You have Diego Gonzalez, you brought up a few times, Batioja, Exxon, you brought up and didn't even use at all. It's kind of you didn't even give him 1 minute, right? It's just like, come on, bro. Like, try a little bit. We're suffering. You could have used like down 4-1 to Miami was an opportunity. Exxon could have came in and got valuable minutes. So it's just questions, but we're not in the inside again.
yeah, I agree. I agree. One interesting thing about this game that we watched this past week was there was a change in between the nets. Jonathan Bond, who came in from Watford, was the starting goalkeeper over Blake Gillingham. Um, his first start of I'm assuming mini or I'm so- I'm assuming that from here on out Jonathan Bond is going to be our starting goalkeeper for the MLS
Agree.
season. I think Blake will be in charge of the Open Cup and League Cup situation, kind of like how it was a couple years ago with Steve Clark and Tarba. But that's yet to be seen. But guys, your thoughts on the change between the sticks, Andres? Do you think it was too soon for Bond to be starting as he just barely came back He barely came into training maybe a week and a half ago. Or obviously the great job that Blake has been doing. Do you think it was maybe too quick of a pull to get him off of there?
I felt like it was too soon, and this is considered a Ben Bestie's moment because he definitely had his favorites here, and I felt like it was very unfair for Blake Gillingham to lose a spot like that, especially with the performances he's been pulling out of nowhere in
Yeah,
in the moment that we needed the most. Obviously, he's still a rookie, and next thing you know, like at the start of the year, we need him to start, and this was before Bond was in the picture. So for me, it's just unfair. I feel like it was gonna be a starter for the time being up until Bond was able to take the spot from him. Obviously, the fact of the matter is that Bond does have more experience that he has,
yeah,
even though Bond has been having like a pretty poor season with Watford before he came over. And it is what it is. Now I do feel more upset that the change happened in the end
mhm,
because I feel like Blake guaranteed having that spot unless something happened in training that I don't know, like that was
yeah,
like really that horrible that he practiced, but
yeah.
I don't agree with that.
OSG. Obviously, because of the turmoil that we had at goalkeeping, with Tarbell going down and then Maurer going down, and Blake coming out of nowhere. Realistically, I mean, he became kind of a fanfare overnight. Obviously, with
Yeah.
just with his abilities, the way he's been able to kind of catch up with everything and being the goalkeeper and looking like a real true goalkeeper prospect and maybe being a long time goalkeeper for a Dynamo here. Um, do you think it's more of a like just a emotional feel towards Blake where like man, he was doing such a great job, he's young, you should let him keep going, or did Ben Olsen do the logical thing where hey, look, Jonathan Bond is an MLS proven goalkeeper, has playoff experience, was in the championship league, so obviously this is the guy that we're going for. We brought him in for a reason. We didn't bring him in to sit on the bench. Your thoughts, OSG?
No, I agree. I agree. And, and Ben kind of said it, and I think they made Gilly aware of the situation. Gilly's a rookie. He's 18 years old, coming out. I believe he's 18, 20 or whatever. He's young and he's an inexperienced. MLS is no joke. uh, Goalkeeper situation. 8 days coming in and starting after the second game. He was the bench the first game. Gilly got to start. We're like, okay, all right, it's going to be Gilly. Yay, we're cool with this. Emotional. Yeah, hey, we're happy with Gilly because we love him already. And then second game, Bond gets to start. We're like, oh, man, come on, this is a surprise. Bond does a great job, and press conference. Ben backs him up and like, hey, experience what he's done. I expect this and this is what I want. This is a long season. Gilly is good, but he's young and you don't know what you're going to get in the long run. I'd rather trust, and that's what he's went with. And Bond is good. He's shown it. He's proven it. Where he came from, where he is. Championship is no joke. Watford is no joke. So he was a good keeper. He was a good keeper. He lost his job to a very more athletic keeper. So I mean, I get it, but I'm with Bond as the starter. I'm with Gilly as the backup. I love it. I love what Gilly did in
Yeah,
taking that place and putting himself on the map.
yeah. If anything, I mean, ironically, if we kind of look at it, I mean, our goalkeeper position has increased in talent immensely from what we thought it was going to be.
Hmm.
You know, I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
no,
absolutely.
no disrespect to Tarbo and Mauer. Tarbo obviously we were given the opportunity
Hey
because
Clark.
we we felt that he was he deserved it. He deserved it. Obviously, coming being Clark's backup all these years, whatever. So we were willing to give him the opportunity to prove himself, and obviously, unfortunately, he had this season-ending injury. Maurer being, man, Maurer is probably as old, if not older, than Clark. He was just brought in to just be a backup keeper because you obviously need a backup keeper and he has experience. So I wasn't expecting too much of him. So I think the fact that now our goalkeeping tandem is Bond and Blake Gillingham, I think we've immensely improved our goalkeeping position. Obviously, like I said, I understand the sentimental feeling of Blake being our guy because he came in our time of need. He had great saves. He showed that he can play, that he can play it at this level and things like that. But again, you know, we're in a position where, hey, we need, especially that position, you need experience. You need goalkeeper. You need somebody with tenacity and all that stuff. Not to, like I said, not to say that Blake doesn't have it. He's just inexperienced. And like I said, I think he got great exposure. I think he showed the coaching staff and the players and the club what he's capable of. So I think that's why he does deserve the time to be the starter for the cup tournaments. Obviously the league is
Mhm.
something different. So I mean, I don't think this is the last we see of Blake. Obviously, in my opinion, like I said, honestly, I don't know what's in Olsen's mind, but obviously, I would reward the young man with, "Hey, here you go. You know what? The U.S. Open Cup starts. This is your cup competition. You're gonna help us succeed in this competition or fail. So this is your baby right here. So we'll see what happens.
Open Cup
Obviously, the
game in
cup
13 days.
in 13 days. There you go. So we'll see. We'll see. We see the return of Blake between the sticks. Guys. Obviously, moving on from that game against Colorado Rapids. The MLS transfer season, transfer window has closed. A lot of things have happened, and obviously, I'm gonna go to Andres here to get some updates about some of our signees. Pablo Ortiz, Dwayne Holmes. We got the news that Toyo C has officially been signed, and we have a departure, an unfortunate departure to some loyalists of the fan base that we have out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Ali U army might be a little bit depressed at the moment, but you know, I think it's a win-win for the player and the club. Uh, Andres can get to the specifics and details about that transfer, but before we get to the Ali departure, guys, Andres, give us any updates on Pablo Ortiz, Dwayne Holmes, and and then OSG can give us a update on the Toyosi and when we could expect to see him.
Hey, welcome in, Iron Front.
No, yeah, and the most left field will transfer out of this window for sure. Like nobody saw this coming up until Tom Bogert leaked it yesterday. And man, the more that I read it, and as soon as it happened officially, as it was announced, really, the more I liked this transfer. And of course, he wasn't really well liked in the fan base because of everything that happened over time. But you can understand what's been going on. So yeah, and literally right after the transfer window closed yesterday, they officially announced that Ibrahim Aliyu was transferred to Columbus Crew, and and these numbers, man. Like obviously he's 23 years old still. He could still have a ceiling depending on the team that he plays. But the Dynamo did receive $450,000 in cash for player trade, essentially cash, and also with the performance metrics that if all of them are met, the Dynamo could earn up to $750,000. So we're talking a lot of
The
money
the
here.
fan base will be so mad if he makes those metrics.
Of
let,
course,
let, let,
no,
let, let, let me say something before you continue, Andres.
yeah,
Let me just say something real quick, and I think we can speak. I think I speak for all of us, and if I don't, obviously you can voice your opinion, but you know, I think Aliyu as a person, I mean, he might be a fantastic young man. He seems like he always has a smile on the face, and all the good stuff. Seems like a really great person, man. It's an unfortunate thing that they just didn't work out here for him. And sometimes that happens, and obviously a new change of scenery. and going to Columbus, a club that has been one of the upper echelons of clubs here with the MLS the last half decade, winning
No
different titles and
Cucho,
all.
no Ramirez.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? It might turn him around and might resurrect his career for him personally, which would be great for him personally, and obviously it'd be great for us because if he hits certain factors like Andres Means said, we would get additional funds. So I mean, it's a win-win situation for both player and club. Andres, continue, buddy.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that there's a lot of money on the table that's being transferred to Dynamo, and potentially a lot more depending on how he performs while in Columbus. And Houston also hold a future sell-on clause for him, so in case he's transferred out, Houston's gonna get a chunk of that change. So it's pretty
As
impressive
long as
trade.
it's
But
not Boa Vista.
oh, of course, no, yeah, that's a nightmare. No, no, everywhere but Boa Vista at this point.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that Boa
Yeah.
Vista part out here at the end.
Ooh.
Aside from the Aliu, what I heard about Pablo Ortiz finally getting his visa approved. So how soon would it be to will we see that young man?
Well, based on what Asher
Monday,
said,
Tuesday.
yeah, he said he's traveling now since his visa got taken care of. So we should be expecting him over the next few days. And yeah,
You
next week
you
sounds
could
like a
you
safe
could
bet.
see him at the stadium on Saturday in the press in the not in the press in the
Owner's
suite.
box.
You could see him there.
Yep.
No, in the players suite. The owner's box is different from the players suite, and they're on the opposite side either way too.
Yeah. Nice. That'll be good to see. Obviously, reinforcements for the defense. What about Holmes? How's his continue improvement from his injury coming along, and how far along is he, and when can we expect to see him?
I think within the next
Soon.
2 months it should be okay. It's still pretty soon, and
Whoa,
obviously
whoa,
just
whoa,
having a
whoa,
broken
whoa, whoa,
leg
whoa, whoa.
is it's not gonna
Turn it from M to W.
within
Turn it from months to weeks.
Oh wow.
weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just being a little bit.
Yeah,
I wanted to give like my own ballpark estimate, but over the next few
I,
weeks, if everything goes right.
I
I mean,
think
yeah,
it's fourth the
it's good to
most
be a little
right.
a little bit
Fourth the most
optimistic.
right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, still pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
OSG. Well, so I mean, obviously the big news is obviously getting a little bit stronger on the front three with the Toyosi signing to kind of. I'm not too sure what we're gonna do with him. If he's gonna be a backup to Ponce, or if he's gonna actually maybe try to link up front with Tose with Ponce. What have you heard, and what do you think about the signing?
The signing of Toyosi,
I,
I'll let OSG
yeah,
sign.
no. I like the signing. I don't know what we're gonna do with him. He is a striker type, and it looked like from his highlights and his whatever YouTube highlights, it looks like a striker. He can play wing. He's got speed. He's got aggression. He's got he's got build. He's got tenacity. He's gonna fight for the ball. He's gonna win the ball. It was hard to tell how much control he's got. He does take on defenders. He does attack the goalie. He does attack. So something special. Not something special. Sorry, it's something that Ben can utilize. But what is Ben going to utilize with? Because what the biggest thing is Ben likes to play people inverted, play people out of position or whatever is the stereotype, or I guess per se. So I could see him playing on the left wing and playing behind Ponce and giving Ponce a break as well. At the same time, utilizing his speed, and then maybe if we're behind and they're both playing up top at the same time, to give Ponce more space behind the defenders where Tuese is stretching the field.
Do you think he might get a start at the first U.S. Open Cup game just to get him kind of quickly acclimated?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's here now, so he's waiting on the visa to be approved to be assured that he can play. So if that visa's approved, then absolutely, because practice. He's not practicing now. whatever. He's here, right? He's here. So obviously he's working, he's training, he's doing his job, and he's doing what he's got to do. He's getting acclimated with the team. Yes, so yeah, absolutely. He could play then that Open Cup game. He could, and don't forget about those. Don't forget about those. There's a great place to put somebody there and just get minutes and get form and then come back to the first team because it doesn't cost you nothing to put them out there and play for those. It
Yeah.
doesn't cost you nothing to
Spe-
play for the Open Cup and Leagues Cup
Yeah.
coming up as well. So yes, this is great because all these players coming back and all these games that are available for them to play and be ready to transition to the actual first team and us grow. So let's go. Go beyond,
Speaking,
as the Dash say, but we need to do that for the Dynamo now.
yeah, for sure. Speaking of those, Andres, we all know that our GM Pat Onston has a certain affliction for Colombian wingers, and we got news or rumor like last minute that a Colombian winger is coming over to the Dynamo. How true is this rumor? Is
Defensive
it
winger.
validated? And is it and coming from Boca? Look, I've never heard of this club from Colombia. They call it Boca Juniors. The only Boca Junior I recognize is Argentina, is in Argentina. But I mean, obviously, I guess the branding is going across South America. So Boca Junior Cali, the winger, I forget his name. You can tell us, Andres, how true is this rumor, and is he poised for Dynamo Dos?
Yes, and this player is gonna be Juan Manuel Viveros, a 20-year-old right back from Boca Juniors de Cali, which is also a club I haven't heard before. I think it's like the third or second division of Colombia, but yeah, man, a position that we need. We're also gonna see him for the time being because it's gonna be developing for those, and I do believe it's happening because Pipe Sierra already reported it, and he already reported on Dynamo players or for those players in the past. So this is pretty much almost all said and done. It is going to be a loan for 8 months with an option to buy towards the end. So it's going to be expiring towards the middle of the season next year. And it's another player to consider. Obviously, low risk. It's the loan itself is less than a year, and we do have that option, which is great. So I do look forward to seeing him play with those. And man, it's a right back. I'll take it.
And
Yeah,
eight
for
months from
sure.
now
Now,
is January, by the way. So yeah, after the end of the season, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
interfere with next season, I don't think.
yeah. So I mean, just to kind of pedal back and talk about the Aliu departure, guys. Obviously, it
Mhm.
opens up a lot of flexibility for the club as far as because Aliu did take up one of the U22 spots. So that
And
essentially gives
international.
that yeah that essentially gives us the opportunity to go with 3DP and three U22s, or go the 2DP route for U22s, which I think is the route that Pat and the club had originally thought about going with. But now that this is available, give me a percentage. Obviously I don't expect any names or any players that you think might come in the summer, but give me a percentage of what you think the possibilities are that the Dynamo go with 3DPs and three U22s instead of the 2DP four U22 option. OSG, I'll go with you first.
All right, so my dumbass should have checked this and fact checked this before we even started the show because I knew this question was coming. So what is the rule to when we had to declare the 4-2 or the 3-3? And was there a declaration and a deadline where we had to declare that to begin with? If there was, we're stuck in the 3-3 situation. If there's not, then this is a great situation and we have that opportunity. And I believe I'm going to go 60-40 DP side, that we bring in a DP player. Who that DP player is, no say. You'll never hear who the rumor is from Pat. Never. It could be Abu Fani. It could go back to Abu Fani, which is the fan bases what they're kind of leaning in towards and what they want, but you never know. But yeah, so it could go either way.
You got 60-40, Andres.
I'm on the same boat. I definitely say that there's a good chance that we switch if the rules allow us to do so, and
Mm.
and that's something that both Pat and Asher have been somewhat hinting that, and they've been saying it for like the past few, I like to say past few months, that every time we've been making like a trade or something like that, Asher has been emphasizing the fact that we're we're getting close to being in a good position to sign a better players and all that. Obviously, that's still up in the air, which with whatever we try to bring in the summer, and I would definitely say that a lot of people here would definitely not say no to a third EP right now.
Yeah, and it's so. Oh, I'm sorry. What's your percentage? Do you go in 60-40 as well?
Yeah, 60-40.
So the funny thing about this, like like if I put my little GM hat on, I guess um, the crazy thing about it is that we might not even have to go 3-3, and still stick with the 2-4 situation because at the end of the day, they could always buy down Linger's transfer fee, and just make him a high TAM player, and then you still bring in
You
another
cannot right
defense.
now.
Well, I mean, but yeah, but I guess technically, you could, or whatever. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess like I said, you might
You
know
can't.
more
You
about
can't
the
right now.
rules.
I mean, supposedly they front loaded the contract to where
Okay,
he's a DP right now, and you cannot buy him down for until the until for a few months, which would linger the off season, which then possibly we could buy him down or whatever. So that's still rumored. So that's how they
okay.
purchased it and made it worked out to where he's a DP now, but he can be bought down, but you have to be patient and
But it,
wait
it, it'll be
very
for the
short
next
time.
season. Okay, so I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, then obviously that changes a lot of what I was thinking about. But but obviously, the flexibility is still there. Obviously, you can go with the current two, which is Linger and Ponce, and then obviously if there's like a outstanding quality player that's under 22 years old that they find and they just feel that this player would be a no brainer, kind of like look, hey, Inali was going to be that for us last year until he had his injury. So if they could find another type of Inali type of player and bring him in on a U22 contract like they did Inali, that would be great. But obviously, I think the fan base is clamoring for some more ambition, something bigger, and obviously a third DP would be that more ambitious approach. But we're obviously we're talking about something ahead of time, and and I guess we'll see what happens. I think I'm more lingering towards 40-60, where we're gonna stay at two DPS and go the four U22 route. So I'm on the opposite side of you guys. So, but I'm hoping you guys are right. I'm hoping you guys are right.
If I can interrupt, I want to.
More
Go ahead.
insider.
If I could interrupt, like I did just look up the rules in the MLS website, and they
Okay.
do pretty much disclose the fact that we can change the roster construction model. So it says that clubs will conditionally have the opportunity to update their roster construction model at mid-season. So between July 1st and August 21st, which is actually going to be when the secondary
Oh,
transfer window
the summer
opens.
window.
Yeah, the
Well,
summer
there you
window.
go.
So it's possible. It's on the table now.
Oh, there you
Now,
go.
what's your percentage, Mark?
No, I mean, like I said,
50-50. Just say it.
no, no. I mean, I'm gonna stick with my 40-60. I don't want to go 50-50. I was gonna, I don't want to go 50-50, but I'm still gonna go 40-60 because I think that there's still I think Pat still in the front office is more in line to go look for a high end prospect than a big name, because obviously even though a big name will sell jerseys and put seats in the stadium and stuff like that, I guess it'll just depend where the Dynamo are at during that time period. If we think a player of high caliber can push us to the next level, and if we're fighting for playoffs, and it can take us to from being a playoff team to being a championship caliber team, maybe they throw the fan base a bone and they bring in a big player. But who knows? Until I guess we'll have to wait and see to see where the club is at that moment, at that particular moment, especially in the summer transfer window. But before we even move on to the next topic, you guys mentioned Boa Vista, and and dude, I look, man, It's crazy because obviously during that time period of those transfers for Alberto Salis to Boavista, and I think it was Manotas to Tijuana and stuff like that, the Matt Jordan era and all that good stuff that was going on during that time period. It was a crazy period, right? And and you go from you know Albert Elise and Mario Manotas are kind of like the first generation of players that we brought in, that we developed, and we could have profited much more than what we profited, off of them. And the fact that a player like Albert Elise, during his time in Boa Vista did really well, really really well. I think he scored. I think he ended up with like 9 goals and 9 assists, and the first half season with Boa Vista, and then he got transferred over to Bordeaux and League One in France. Um, but the fact of the matter that we have not collected any funds from Boavista for the Alberto Elise transfer is still mind blowing to me. Obviously, the same thing with Reggie Cannon and the FC Frisco, and obviously it's the reason why the deal with the Colorado Rapids collapsed, or is it RSL? I'm sorry, collapsed at the last minute because I think Boavista was tired of MLS talking so much trash about no non unpaid funds. But dude, the fact that MLS clubs are still trying to do business with Boa Vista is crazy to me. It's crazy, and
Hey,
I don't know.
somebody backed out
Hold
today,
on,
though, right?
hold on. I don't know. I don't know if Don Garber or whoever from MLS needs to go down to Portugal with Ginales and head of FIFA, and knock on Boavista's door and be like, "Yo, hey, pay me my money. It's pay me my money, bitch." Like like I mean, you guys have seen the meme. When
Yeah.
Stewie from Family Guy beats up Brian. Where's my money at? Where's my
Yeah,
money at?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it needs to get to that type of level of aggression, man. Like this, that's ridiculous. The fact that I mean, look, I've heard the news of how Boavista's financial dyers are like crazy. Like I think there was even a rumor that they weren't gonna be able to play. They were gonna have to forfeit their next home match because they couldn't pay the bills to turn on the electricity or some crazy nonsense, right? Some crazy nonsense. And it's just crazy how a club like that can just falter and be so irresponsible financially. Like you'd be surprised how many of these clubs are run on credit cards, guys. And and just it's an unfortunate thing for a club like Boa Vista. Their history in Portugal. They're really the fourth club out of the big three, right? We all know Sporting, Benfica, and Porto, but Boa Vista is the fourth. It's technically like the fourth most decorated Portuguese club in history, and it's crazy, guys. I mean, but I guess
Hey,
how
hey,
I guess
Mark. Speaking of,
when do we call it and when do we say we're not going to get anything for this Alberto Elise transfer?
well, call it right now. Call it
Call it right
yesterday.
now.
Call it 2 years ago.
Call it right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nothing.
yeah. But
Nothing.
speaking of searching for DPs, what's up, Doggo? Thank you for checking in with us. And he says Brian Rodriguez for the next DP if you want to go search for another DP. But
Oh,
Doggo,
Brian Rodriguez,
I'll
Club
apply.
America.
Yeah, apply. Hey, Doggo's a scout. He just hasn't applied for nobody yet. He's got to put his network out there.
Yeah.
Look, Brian Rodriguez wasn't doing too much when he was at LAFC, but he's been killing it for Club America, Tricampeon and all that stuff. And I think he still plays for Uruguay in the national team from time to time, if I'm not mistaken. I would love to see him, but obviously coming from a big club like America, it's going to cost a pretty penny to get him back to MLS. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We can afford it. We can afford it.
I
Daddy
mean,
Tad.
Papa Ted, come on. Anyways, guys, let's move on to this week's matchup against Austin FC. The little brother, the kind of the stepchild of Texas soccer. Obviously, we recognize the Texas Derby being Houston versus Frisco. Austin kind of just came in out of nowhere. I think they're kind of like the bastard stepchild that nobody really cares about with the green hair and stuff like that. So I mean, regardless of what it is, but look, regardless of what you think of them, they are sitting second
Rotten
in the Western
broccoli.
Conference right now. Second behind I'm sorry guys, behind who's leading
LAF,
the Western Conference?
Vancouver,
Vancouver, yeah.
Vancouver, Vancouver. Oh
LSC,
my God,
Vancouver.
Vancouver! What a story. But is Austin true contenders or are they pretenders? Like honestly, like because like I took a little bit of a deep dive on them, right? Because I haven't obviously I don't really
Hmm.
watch the matches, whatever. I kind of took a little bit of a deep dive a couple of days ago, and this is why I posted this question because the Dynamo have scored more goals than Austin has up to this point, right? And then on top of that, Austin has played 9 games. Seven guys, 7 of those 9 games have been determined by one goal. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 2-1. 7 of those games. The only outlying game that didn't was the game against Vancouver where Vancouver handed their asses to them and they lost 5 to
Yeah,
1.
5-1.
You know, but aside from that, I mean, they've scored less goals than the Dynamo, but obviously they scored the goals where needed to win the games. They're basically a win or nothing team, so that's why they have so many points at this current moment. But with that being said, I mean, they are collecting the points, and that's why they're in the position they're in. Andres, do you think Austin is a contender, or do you think they're a pretender?
I think it's too early to call them contenders, even though they had like a pretty great start of the year compared to the position they were at last year. And obviously, they did their own type of overhaul this past offseason after they had
And they
to,
just brought in Robert Taylor from Miami.
yeah, and they had to shake up the front office during the offseason. Well, before the offseason started, even, and they were just able to make a lot of moves, kind of like what we did a couple years ago. And for them, it's going great. And for now, like you already mentioned it before, like it's the results have been close, but they've been getting the results they wanted, and that's all that really matters here. It really is gonna
Hmm.
come down to how they do the midseason crunch over the next few months because
Mhm.
like as much as the results are going their way, it's really up to the opponent they're facing and if they can keep up their or they can stay consistent over the course of the year. So I feel like it's gonna be a tough opponent for us still. I feel like they have figured themselves out and know how to play, and for us, it's gonna come down to how we're not able to get caught flat-footed because I feel like that's been the theme of the year, and I'm gonna keep saying it because it keeps happening, and it kind of happened against Colorado too. So it's gonna come down to how ready they are to get the result against Austin.
Yeah. OSG.
Bro,
Well, so hold on, OSG. So Andres, if you had to answer right now, so I'm guessing you're leaning a little bit more on the contender side than the pretender side.
More towards the pretender for now, but it's too early. I'd say.
Okay. OSG. So obviously, luck sometimes takes point, in these games, right? For us, the Dynamo, we've kind of been unlucky on certain aspects, with penalties given up on dying times or whatever, and things of that nature. So that's why we're in the situation we're in as far as being at the bottom of the Western Conference and bottom of the table where we're at right now currently. But Austin has taken full advantage of their situations and their opportunities to score and making sure that they convert those ties into wins, you know, because like I've mentioned, 7 of their 9 games have been determined by goal difference, and 6 of those 7 have been 1-0 games, 1-0 games, and they've taken full advantage. Um, what are your thoughts as far as like? Do you think it's luck? Do you think it's more they're more they've brought in more veteran players from MLS like Eli Sanchez, Brandon Vasquez. They obviously they brought in Robert Taylor from Inter Miami. They've got a more sound, more MLS veteran heavy group to where they're more steady and more, I guess, not
And
so bendable and
they have
breakable.
some DPs they enjoy as well.
Yeah. So what do you think, OSG? Are you Austin pretender or contender?
Mid tender. They're I mean, to tell you the truth, and they probably feel the same right now. They're probably happy that they've got 4 or 5 win. What is it? It's four. Is it 5 wins now? It's 4 or 5 wins, which is a great start to the season. Like you said, 1-0. But they made a lot of changes to their offense, and they improved their offense. They made a tactical adjustment last game against LA Galaxy and proceeded to say this may be the future of the change, and this is what they're going to do. So that they're, like you said, still trying to find their identity and what they want to do, and it could cause some trouble, but I don't, it depends on the maturity of the Dynamo defense this weekend as to how they're going to. I think our game plan will be a better game plan than what Austin's going to bring for the game plan they've been using. If Ben can tactically play it smartly, and then our Femi doesn't make a youthful YouTube mistake, um, it they're mid tenders on their per se of going up to contenders, not going down to pretenders.
Yeah.
They're but if they start making mistakes like we do, then it's easily they fall off and just cave immediately. But right now, they're playing decent opponents. They did get their ass whooped one time. I mean, we got whooped by Portland too at the same time, but just not 5-1. It was 3-1.
In Miami.
So I hate. Oh yeah, so yeah, twice worse. But so our season is worse than theirs, and I hate to try to compare it to theirs, but they're obviously having a better season, but their their market was earlier than
Yeah.
ours. Our market was later, so I think they're mid tenders, and
Mid
it
tenders,
it
okay.
just yeah, it's just how do they play out? Just kind of like we're waiting to see how the Dynamo play out with the bus dropping off all these new players coming in, and how do they play out? Optimistic soccer guy and Andreas soccer guy believes that we're going to move up. I predicted third place is where we finished before this even started, with the injuries predicted, not knowing about Holmes and Linger and Toyoso and so a couple other players. I was kind of in believe and I believed in the system. Now I kind of don't, but you know, so they're mid tenders. Sorry, broccoli trees, your shit is rotten and I don't like vegetables anyways.
Yeah. So I'm a huge baseball fan, right? And one of the aspects that they've always told me to look at when you determine whether a team is championship quality or playoff, or the difference between a playoff team and a championship team, is always look at the run differential, right?
Okay. Yeah.
If you have a team that has a great plus run differential, you can tell that they're an elite squad, they're an elite team, that they have the pitching, they have the offense and all that stuff, right? So I'm gonna kind of try to apply this to Austin here real quick, and granted, like I said, they have the one outlier game against Vancouver, who right now Vancouver is playing amazing. I'm not sure what's going on up there, but I mean they're obviously in the semifinals of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, and obviously leading the Western Conference. But they killed Austin 5-1, right? But prior to that, obviously, then you're talking about a differential of 6 goals to 3. They would have a plus 3 goal differential, 16 points, which is a great start. Like I said, they're not scoring the ball any better than what we are, but I mean, but they're scoring when they need to. So that's the only difference. Um, it's a bit early. Like I said, Vancouver was really their first big test as far as teams that are like legit contenders this season. Even though Vancouver is kind of unexpected, I didn't expect Vancouver to be doing what they're doing. But I mean, whatever's going up there in Canada, they're doing things right. So I guess I'm gonna have to take OSG's mid tenders, type of deal too as well. Because I mean, it's kind of too early to tell, but I mean, but you have to give them praise for the fact that they are in the position that they are. As far as being second place in the table, and obviously that gives them a little bit of a leash to where like certain games come along and they might mess up or luck might not be on their side where they can lose points and they're still in the playoff battle because they've given themselves such a long leash as far as points as much points as they gain. I mean they've gained double the points that we have. So I
Yeah,
mean
what's a minted there? 6th to 11th place?
yeah, so but like I said, I mean, 16 points compared to our 7. I mean, it's a big difference, and
Woo.
obviously, we can do a lot to change that if this game this week goes our way, to trying to catch up with the other players, with the other teams and other clubs, and position ourselves back into the playoff push. But now let's talk about the game this weekend, guys. Andres, um, how? I mean, from rumors are 150 to 170 Austin fans are coming down here to support their team. Obviously, when Austin FC as a club is doing well, the support is there. But when they suck, nobody shows up. But obviously, they're doing well right now, so they're gonna show up in drones. I guess we'll see when that happens. Um, Home sweet home has it really been? Not really. I mean, obviously the
Hmm.
LAFC game has been great. Like we
What
mentioned, they're kind of
happened to Hell in the Shell?
what happened to Hell in the Shell? Can we bring that back and can we start melting broccoli trees up again? What do you think?
Yeah, home has just been like a really weird place to play, especially this year. And of course, when it comes to the Houston sports landscape, if you start sucking, then people are just gonna start watching something else. And it's not great when the Astros started playing, and also when the Rockets are still in playoffs. Really, when it comes down to it, it's just a matter of how they can play. And this is kind of like mostly superstition, but every time the Dynamo have been like, when games are just like poorly attended, they tend to play better than when the games are full. So I guess we got that going for us if you believe that superstition. But yeah, like it's just the eternal debate of why our attendance is just pretty bad. So it's really gonna come down to all these factors going on, and yeah, MLS is not like a really go to product when it comes to like Houston sports, or really of all the things that there's to do in Houston. Like people prefer doing something else, and
Yeah.
honestly, I'd rather just have like fans that
Support
are dedicated.
supporters will
Um,
be sold out this weekend.
yeah.
We
I
got
mean,
that
look.
going, yeah.
Look. There's obviously there's a lot of stuff going on in Houston. You got the Astros, you got the Rockets playoff game, which game three will be right after the Dynamo game. So that's a good thing. Go watch the Dynamo, then
Away.
go, then go, yeah, then go to the Dynamo game, then go afterwards, go to Little Woodrow's, and we can watch the Rockets playoff game. So I mean, like obviously there's always gonna be a lot of stuff going on, you know. But obviously, I think the fan base, obviously, with what they experienced the last 2 years, the fan base is starting to come back, little by little. Obviously, did we get the start of the season that we wanted to? No, obviously, that we've documented that throughout the last couple of shows that we've had. Obviously, now that we have a little bit of spark with Linger coming on the way he did, obviously Holmes, Ortiz, Toyosi, those players are going to be arriving pretty soon. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel as far as how our team is going to look like as a complete set finally, right? Um, it's not the conventional way I would have liked the team to be set up. Obviously I would have loved to have these players from the beginning in the preseason, getting ready to go, and all that good stuff. Maybe we would have had a more fantastic start to the season. But obviously we can't play back the hands of time and we can't go back in time. So we are what we are. But obviously, with that being said, we have to take advantage of home. We have to protect Hell in the Shell, and we have to turn up for these derby games. It is a fellow Texas team, and we need to show who rules Texas and who's daddy here. And we're daddy. Until somebody else knocks us off and can prove otherwise, we are him, as the kids will as the kids say. So I mean, look, I'm looking for a decent show out, whatever. Obviously, we're going to be tailgating. The supporters groups are going to be heavy, and they're going to be ready to go and all that good stuff. We'll see what happens with like with Batillon or Texanian Army, the Surge, and all those guys. But I mean, I'm looking forward to the game. Obviously, I know you guys will be there. We'll be there. Obviously, hopefully, we'll be doing extracurricular activities prior to the match, as far as
You
handing
know it.
out free and all that stuff. But guys, before we get on, can I get a prediction for the game? OSG, I'll go with you first. Prediction for the games.
Mm, Jesus Christ. This is going to be a 2-2 game. We're going to score our second goal for the second time this season, and it's going to be another draw, and it's going to be another comeback draw,
Dos to
unfortunately.
dos. Who scores the goals? I was gonna.
Ooh, shit. Yeah, that's just so tough because we ask that every week before the game even starts. Who scores the goals? We ask then, who's going to score the goals? Where's the creativity going to come? Hmm. Was Ponce and Escobar at practice today? I don't know. I don't think so. Is there an injury involved? I don't know. We'll see tomorrow, Friday. Um, man, where do the goals come from? It's crazy. I don't know. We're gonna have to work one off a set piece. We're gonna have to work one off a set piece and make magic. So can it be a McGlynn free kick, Golasso, or off a corner kick where Femi makes up for it and 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 heads one in. And, Dago says Ponce brace with a Linger assist brace. So 2 goals Ponce, 2 goals. I mean 2 assists Linger. So
Wow,
let's go with that. I
that's
agree. I agree. I agree with Dago. Just so La Hinchada can shut the fuck up for at least a week, and Ponce scores 2 goals.
shout out to Dago and on the YouTube chat, man. Appreciate you keeping up with
Yes,
us
sir, Dago.
live. I mean, that would be great. Ponce Brace and a Lingard assist on both of them. Andres, predictions.
I go 2-1 Dynamo, man.
Who scores?
Linger scores, and then the second goal is gonna be scored by Basi again.
Bossy. Get that bossy love.
Damn.
Bossy
Back to
love.
back
Hey,
games.
I know,
hey,
right?
look, man. Look, I'll be one to admit I haven't been the biggest fan of Bossy. I appreciate the things that he does. Obviously, he's a hell of a penalty taker, right? He hasn't missed. Um, you know, but the thing is that when you play a position like that offensively, you have to have the will and the willingness to want to shoot. You know, and even though I know sometimes he makes some nice little nifty passes here and there, and he gets a little cheeky with certain things and certain moves and tactics inside the box, but sometimes, dude, just smash it. Let them know that you have that capability, and it's okay. Look,
Hmm.
look, obviously I'm not expecting you to make every kick from 20 yards out or 25 yards out, but just give the illusion that you have that in your arsenal. That is a possibility, and I think it would open up so much more for Basi if he gave that out and he let these clubs know that, hey, I'm not scared to shoot from 25. You know, but with that being said, predictions for Austin SC. You know what, man? I'm feeling good. I've had a good week this week. You know,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
it's been lovely. I can't deny.
Are those teas upgrading to liquor?
You know, we might be on the little whiskey high was before we get to the stadium, but I'm gonna go
Oh,
three. I'm,
yeah.
I'm gonna go 3-0, 3-0 Dynamo,
Oh.
3-0 Dynamo. This
I'll
this
take
this
it.
is gonna be the first statement win of the season. This is gonna be the first game where the Dynamo. We're gonna remember this game as a statement game to where we're gonna. This is our official start of the season right here. You know what happened
Are
prior.
we hashtagging G Money where he said this is the beginning of it?
This is the beginning of it. This is where you guys can go shirts off. I know you all have the 3 goals shirts off rule, whatever. 3 goals shirts off. Hey,
Yep,
there you
three
go.
three nil, 3-0.
3-0 Dynamo this weekend. You heard it here first. And when we come back in next week, I'll be gloating knowing that
Shortless.
it was something different, but at least what it is what it is. Um, who scores the goals? Who scores the goals? I'm gonna do a Ponce brace because that's my guy. I got to give love to Zico Ponce. And you know what? I'm gonna give a love to Kowalovic. A rocket goal from him, 25 feet.
I'll take it.
So 3-0
Nice.
Houston Dynamo. You heard it here first. So, we'll
Woo.
see what happens. I feel good about it. I think like I said, Austin, they're gonna come back a little bit to the crowd and and things of that nature. I mean, obviously, like I said, a lot of luck has gone their way, but I think coming to Houston, there is no luck for Austin. There is no love lost for Austin.
You know,
So
y'all call it for those linger goals. I think we should check out the highlight from his goal from the last game and just get the crew hyped up a little bit here and the
sure,
people
show it, man,
listening
show
too
it.
as well.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
Let's go. I was hyped when it happened, like you said. Let's see some footage of
Today
it,
is
Andres.
Andre Langer. You look at the clock, Kev, deep into stoppage time.
How
Just
about that,
comes
man?
in the blind spot of
96.
Max. So the center back has no idea that Langer is about to sneak right in front of him, and that's a snap header to the far post. What a play.
Dream debut indeed
Take
for
the spoils
Andre
from
Langer.
right there.
Love that. Let's check in.
2 great headers to combine for a game time
Yeah,
goal. So I mean,
and two
I'm
great
excited about it.
strips.
Huh?
And two great strips, the
There
jersey
you go.
and
There you go.
the medical device.
The catapult
Yeah.
brawl. Anyways,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
obviously we're gonna we got to the point of the show where I get to ask my weekly question until we get out of the basement from the Western Conference table. And unfortunately, we're still there, so I have to keep on with the question, guys.
Well,
Are
add that
we?
too. Dagos, reminded us Linger made team of the week as well on the bench.
Oh, that's true. Shout out making team of the week on the bench for your first week. For first game played, first goal scored, first team of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Not a first for Linger. Hopefully, it's not the last. Guys,
Mm.
are Dynamo MLS worst? Andres, you weren't
Nope.
here last week, so I'll start with you.
Sure. No.
Simple answer, no. Simple answer, no. But I mean,
No.
let's be a little fair. Let's be a little in depth with it, though. I mean, look, we're still at 7 points. Obviously, we're going against a team that we're 9 points behind. That's in second place at the moment. Obviously, we
LA
seen
Galaxy is still LA Galaxy.
we've seen
Mantra.
improvement with the club. We've seen improvement with the club and all that good stuff. But with that being said, like I said, the last two games where I've expected we could have collected 6 points, we've only collected two, so that's 4 points there. We're at seven, we could have been at 11. That's the difference between a quality playoff team and a seller team. And unfortunately, I have to go with what we're at right now, and we're still a seller team. So, are we MLS worse? Obviously, I agree with Andres. I don't think we're not, but I mean, I think we are steering the ship on the right direction. Andres, what's something that they can do to improve like this week? Obviously, a win would be nice, but what improvements do you want to see to help you further yourself or to stop me from asking this question week in week out?
Right now it's just points because we've already seen the reinforcements and we very well know that they're on their way here. And it's just a matter of getting back in the standings. Our schedule has been pretty tough to start of the year. and we've just taken the brunt of it, especially with the adjustments that we had to make, and of course the transfers that the gaps of the transfers that we left in during the offseason. So it's been a difficult start. It's just a matter of getting the points now and hoping to get all those reinforcements as fast as possible to this team right now.
Nice, nice.
It's the
OSG.
mentality. It's the mentality, bro. It's the mentality and just trusting in yourself. It's Fiacinco going to be available. It's going to be Femi. It's going to be Barlow. It's going to be Femi and Fiacinco. Fiacinco isn't 100%. Femi is a rookie, not trusting himself right now. Bartlow, you trust him what he does, but he doesn't make those athletic moves. So that's what we need is the belief in ourselves on that defense to just trust themselves and be the defense that Ben has built, because that's Ben's repertoire to allow our friggin' offense to kind of play a little bit and expand and just try something and do something to get this kickstart off. But you got to trust in the defense first before you can play that game. And Ben won't do that until he believes in that defense. So it's difficult. So we'll see. Kind of need Ortiz to come in and hurry up and just give back up and help out. So need a win though. Need a win.
For
But it
sure, for
starts in the
sure.
back.
So I'm guessing that's a no for you too as well for being MLS worst.
No, it's an absolute no. It's an absolute no. We're obviously bottom mid tenders. We're bottom
For our
mid tenders,
tenders.
and but we have a lot coming in to sell ourselves at a greater factor. So that's the only difference between other teams in the MLS that are already set in stone, and they don't have 5 players coming off the bench before the summer window even shows up. So watch out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
There's a
obviously,
lot coming, and the parity is there.
yeah,
Yep.
obviously, I'm in agreement with you guys. Do I think we're MLS worst? No. Obviously, like I said, the two Canadian teams are are way
Yeah,
ahead of
Toronto,
us as far as with
Montreal.
the disaster. It's crazy. Montreal and Toronto are just so deep in despair, and Vancouver is like balling out of control. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, look. Obviously, I've been happy with the improvements from the club the last couple of weeks. Like I said, it's unfortunate where I feel that we've dropped points that we didn't need to drop, but I can see the improvement as far as chemistry with the club goes. The creativity is still not
And
there where I want it to be, and obviously the connections to try to get Ponce more involved as far as a goal scorer are is still not there. But like I said, Linger with his hot start. Hopefully, it continues. Whether or not he starts or not is yet to be determined. But if he does, hopefully, him and Ponce can link up and can do some special things, being the top two most talented players on the squad. Right. Jack McGlynn is another person who I want to see more from. Being a young player that we have a lot invested in. I want to see him step up as well, and things of that nature. And obviously, a player that maybe a dark horse player for me is Kowalski. Sebas is obviously I named him as one of my goal scorers in the 3-0 route. I want to see more from him. I mean,
so,
I
Mark, let
think he
me
can.
ask you a big question right now.
What's up?
Let me ask you a big question with the tactics and the style and the way Ben's playing and what has worked for the Dynamo has been the two CDM style with Arthur and Orso or Arthur and Reigns. But now you insert Linger, and so you have to substitute somebody. Are you substituting one of your Basi or Seba, or are you going to substitute Reigns or Urso, and you leaving
To
Arthur
be
back there by himself as a CDM by himself, or what are you doing? What situation would you rather go in?
look, we need offense. You know, offense scores. As
So
like I said,
so
obviously.
test it,
Look,
push it, and see what happens. Go back to it
well,
if you
look,
have to.
but I mean, we to have to defend with four, have back four, and then to provide two defensive mids. That's
Yeah, it was too
if we
much.
have to guard with 6 men. I mean, dude. I mean, it's no reason why. It's the reason why we're lacking offensively, right? So look,
Yeah,
Uso and Reigns, I appreciate everything, but look, Arthur, he is our captain. He mans that number 6 spot, and he shows why he's one of the top 6, top number 6s in the MLS, and he shows that why. And then look, McGlynn and Linger attacking. Now, obviously, McGlynn will have to
I
take
love
the
it.
position. Now McGlynn will have to take the position of being more. Hey, I got to get back on the ball and not be as offensive minded as I would like to be, because obviously
Hmm.
that obviously that's going to go to Linger now as being the, hey, I'm going to be the ball dominant offensive juggernaut that I was brought in to be, and I'm going to push the needle as far as the offensive goes, and I'm going to be the start of the attack for the Dynamo. So it's going to be Ms. McGlynn's job to know when to step back and know when to move forward when when he's needed. So so he'll have to
I
play
like
more of
that.
that. He'll have to play more of that 8 role. Um, but but with that being said, like I said, Arthur is capable enough to man that number 6 spot down by himself. We have great defenders behind him with Escobar and Dorsey and Femi and Eric or Bartlow, depending on who starts. Those guys have had enough time to play with each other and play alongside each other to create a bond and chemistry. So, and especially if Eric's
Yeah,
starting, yeah, especially. So yeah, I'm taking Uso and Reigns out, and I'm putting Linger as there, and I'm going one defensive mid and two attacking tanks.
Andres. Andres, briefly, do you back that up, or where do you stand? Just briefly.
Honestly, I back it up, and I'm mostly just like a Junior Urso stand right now. So anything Junior Urso involved, I'm more than likely to support it.
So you're okay. You're okay either way. But Bark said more offensive. Arso and Reigns need to go to the bench, and we play McGlynn. And so, are you going with the 2 CDM or the 1 CDM, and trusting Archer and letting him do his damn job?
Yeah, we're gonna have to be more offensive, and I'm more so a proponent of having Urso coming off the bench to replace Arthur when we need it the most, because Arthur is still the undisputed starter, and more than anything now we need goals, and we need to have as many options as we can up there. So I'm definitely good with Urso just starting from the bench, well, coming off the bench to make it more clear. But
Yeah, and,
yeah,
and I just don't see the club benching McGlynn. I mean, McGlynn is one of our
No,
biggest
of course
signings
not.
off. So I
yeah,
mean, it wouldn't make sense. So with that being said, I mean, like I said, I think Arthur is a top echelon defensive mid, and he can hold that position down. And he can be the point of the arrow for our defense, and he's done that really well for the last 2.5 seasons that he's been with us. So I mean, he's extremely capable. I think if any club needs more than 5 defenders, then we need to find 5 better defenders. Then we're doing something wrong as far as the
Yeah.
players that we have as our defensive players. Guys, great question, OSG. Guys, with that being said, I put out a kind of a challenge to our supporters, our fans, our followers, and all that stuff on YouTube and every other social media outlet that you follow us in, guys. For the tailgate for the February, I'm sorry, for the April 26th game against Austin FC, I want us to get to 300 followers. Andres, what's the current number right now?
we're at 280
It's
subscribers
move.
on
It's
YouTube.
280
moving along
subscribers. So we're,
slowly.
so we're so we're 20 subscribers away, guys. 20 subscribers from here till the start of the to 3 p.m. Saturday when the tailgate starts, dude. We're 20 subs, guys. Help us out, guys. Like I said,
Yeah.
look, look. I got the stuff here. Caps. They're brand new, so don't think they've been worn on this and that. Caps. We got plushies for the kids. We got autographs. We got all this stuff. I got too much shit that I'm trying to give away, guys. I'm trying to give away to you guys. I'm more than happy to oblige and give away. But guys, I just need you to get us there to 300 on the YouTube subscribes. So please, guys, I said if you have a friend, a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister, a lover, a father, a mother, whatever kind of relationship you got, just grab their phone, get them to subscribe, and that's all we ask. Get us to 300 by 3 p.m. February. I don't know why I keep saying February. April 26th. And help me help you. Help me give you some of this stuff away, guys. And all you gotta do is answer one or two Dynamo questions, and the stuff is yours. But with that being said, with that being said, Surge Tailgate at Houston Dynamo headquarters has been confirmed. I believe the guys will be there at 4, if I'm not mistaken, from 4 to 7. Then we'll obviously march to the stadium and all that good stuff. But obviously,
Come
guys,
as early as you want.
yeah, come as early as you want. There'll be music bumping, BYOB. There should be some sort of food arrangement. I'm not too sure.
Pupusas are coming, bro.
Maggie's.
Shout out Maggie's. All that great stuff. Andres, tell the people where they can reach us. Let them know how they can reach us, and let them know how they can get in contact with us.
Hold on. Dynamic Foxtrot. Pause. Hold on. Dose has a very important game this weekend as well. They are also playing the Baby Broccolis on Sunday at Sabercat Stadium.
The Brussels sprouts.
Most important, there you go. The Brussels sprouts are playing us on Sunday at Sabercat Stadium as well. But what's more importantly, man, OSG, the mileage tracker is going to grow this weekend because I'm going to Dash, I'm going to Dynamo, and I'm going to Dose. So I'm leaving tomorrow morning on Friday morning. I'm not coming back till morning. I'm not coming back till Monday morning. And I'm going to all 3 games. So Foxtrot game day is going to be just blown up. But I want to see people at the friggin' Sunday game against those little Brussels sprouts. And let's make it loud and let's support Dose. I want to see you there. Tickets are free.
Sure.
Get your freaking tickets and get to the game, bro. South 388. It's right there.
Those are second in standings.
Yeah, there you go. Dynamo Dose second in standings.
Yes. Power rankings too.
Yeah. It sounds like OSG is gonna have a threesome of games this weekend to go to. So great job there. Have a great time, my guy. I know for sure I'll see you Saturday and all that good stuff. Andres, let us know where they can get a hold of us.
Yeah, man, as always, all season long, and especially this weekend when all 3 teams are going to be playing at the same time. You know where to find us, but at Dynamic Foxtrot is going to be the handle for X, Instagram, and also Blue Sky. Also on X, we do have the Noodle Tiempo handle, which we try to share as much Dynamo news as possible. That also includes Dash and Dose. And obviously, when the window closing this week, we've been very busy with that. And of course, wherever you're watching this, wherever you're hearing this, your favorite podcast platform, we're going to be uploading this so you can listen on your way to work, on your way home tomorrow. It's usually posted on the next day. And if you're watching it right now, you are in the best place to watch our content, which is our YouTube channel. And we do appreciate the subscription. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We're still trying to get to 300 subscribers, like Mark just said. And we're still planning on getting those giveaways out. And also, Goals TV are another good platform to check out soccer content creators like us. We are also there on our profile. It's going to be goals.tv/@Dynamic Foxtrot. And Goals is spelled with a Z towards the end. So keep an eye on that. And yeah, man, you know where to find us.
Guys, like always, thank you for the continued support, guys. Like I said, 20 subscribers away from 300. Get us there, guys. And with that being said, like I said, like I'm always gonna do, shout out to Kiki Van Zenten. Dash, I see you. Guys, keep holding it down for H-Town, for the Dynamo Dash and Dino Dose, guys. Keep holding it down. Let's go.
H is up.
Carrasquilla. Oh, look at that fancy pass. And now a chance in behind. Ibrahim scores! From back to front, Houston Dynamo have doubled the lead. Just like that, it's 2-0.
He has Bostic to his right-hand side. He says, I see you, I don't need you. And what a classy finish this is from Ibrahim.
Trying to turn the corner. Quinones cuts it in. Quinones saved! And now it's tapped in! And this'll count! The flag stays down! And the Dynamo lead 3-1! Ibrahim a brace!
Baird can get forward. And into space here is Ibrahim Aliou! His first Houston Dynamo goal! And the young Nigerian confirms Houston Dynamo are heading to the Open Cup quarterfinal. It's 3-0 to the Dynamo.
Really quickly, Corey Baird, who is now looked to display through U.S. Open Cup regular season, as you mentioned, a number of other.
As Franco playing in behind, Aliou will pull it back for Baird. There's his hat trick.
Look at it, look at it. Mark, you get
Equaling his previous total of Houston Dynamo goals in one night. It's a breakout evening for Corey Baird. It's a breakout evening for Houston Dynamo.